And thank you everyone for joining the session. So today we'll discuss about the client administration, right? So what is this client? Why we have to discuss about the client administration? What is the use of the client administration part here? So client, what is client? To log into the SAP system, definitely you need a client, right? To log into the SAP system, definitely you need a client number in SAP system. Without client, you cannot log in. So you need a client, right? So here what is client here, right? So client is an one of the business entity. Client is an one of the business entity. So to run the business, to store the business data, definitely the client is required. Without client, definitely the client is required. A new client is required. So we cannot, without client, we cannot run any business. Sir, we have already clients are there, right? In SAP, when you are doing the installation, you are already getting the two clients, 000, 001 clients you are getting. So can't we run the business in these two clients? Can't we run the business in the no? Why? Because these are the master clients. It contains the master data. Only master data which is coming from SAP, it contains the master data only. You cannot run customer data. You cannot save customer data in these two clients. That is the reason you need to create a one new client. We have to create one new client. We have to create it here for the production business purpose. We have to create the client here. So we have to log into the that client and we need to do the work. But as of now, we are logging to the 000, 001 or any one of the client done the some of the basic stuff we have done it, but that is not the correct one. So we have to create the new client for the business purpose. We have to create the new client here, right? So then how to create the client? So client means now we got it. To run the business, to store the business data, definitely we need a client, right? Without client, we cannot log in also even system, right? So that's what we have logged into the systems, right? So if you see here, whenever we are logging to the system, not the Windows level, SAP level, whenever you are logging, you are using, there is a client concept here, right? There is a client concept here. If you go to the here, so whenever you open, so there is a client concept. So either 000, 001. By default, clients are there. You are logging to the default client with the default user or one of the custom user which you created. Then you are logging and you are doing the businesses here, right? You are doing the all the configurations. So all the business related activities you are performing here. Fine, that is good, but you cannot run it in the 000, 001. You cannot run it. You need to create a new client here, right? So where we have to create the new client means using the SCC4 transaction code, we can create new client. In the SCC4 transaction code, we can create a new client here, right? In this transaction code, we have to create a new client, and going forward, we have to use that client to log into the SAP systems. So as of now, we have done it. Why? Because it's a new things we have done it, but we should not log in the real time these clients. Only newly created client, whatever the client number you give it, one number. Why? Because clients we can create from 000 to 999, any number you can give it. Already 000, 001 already there. So apart from that, any number you can use to create the clients. Apart from that, any number you can use to create the clients in the SAP systems here, right? That's what we have to do that part. So where to create the client then? So in the SCC4 transaction code, using the transaction code of SCC4 transaction code, so we can use this one to create a new client in SAP system, right? To create a new client in SAP system, we have to use the SCC4 transaction code. We can use it here. So, but are there any dependency tasks to create the client? Why? Because in one system, we have the multiple clients we are creating. So is there any prerequisites to create the client? Yes. That is called the, so logical systems. Logical systems we have to assign. We have to assign to the client. You have to assign to the client here. Logical system, you have to assign client here. So what is the logical system means here? One more technical word. Was it this is the logical systems. So logical systems, to identify the client within the system or within the landscape, you need a logical systems. You need a logical systems here. Sir, how we can identify it here? What is the reason for identifying? Data will be stored into the SAP to DB level, then why we have to identify? So here, if you observe it here, so this is the presentation layer, this is the SAP layer here, this is the DB layer here, right? So then SAP layer, you have the, so 000, 001 clients are there, and also SAP said like you cannot run the business in these two clients. You need to create a one more client. You have to create it here. One more client you have to create it here. That is fine. But here we have only one table is there here in the database level. Database is only one. If you have the multiple clients, all the clients data will store into the only one table in the database level here, right? So but here every client the data is separate. 000 the data is separate. 001 the data is separate. The new client the data is separate. Every client the data is separate here, right? So why? Because you need to run the business data in the client. If you have the data, it's not applicable for the all the clients here. It's not applicable for the all the clients here. So in that case, so 000 client data also saving into the same database level, same table level. Then 001 data also, and also the new client, suppose like 100 client, the 100 client data new created, that data also saving into the same table level. Sir, there is a clash, right? Why? Because in one pot, in one tub, we are pouring the all the mixed water, right? So the red water, so different like blue water, green water, all the water there. Water means data. All the data. So we are inserting into the one tub. One tub. We are in one bucket or one tub. We are inserting the all the tables data. We are inserting here, right? But in that case, there is a class, right? Data will be merged, right? All the clients' data will be merged, right? So to avoid this merge of the data and everything, we have the logical system field. Logical systems we have to assign to the client. So whenever you create the 000 client, so there is a logical system field is called the every client. So we have to assign the logical system. So logical system means to identify the client within the landscape, you need a logical system. The naming convention for the logical systems are like a SID, SID, and CL and D, and the client number you need to assign it. So SID means NW1, CL and D, so 000. So NCID NW1, CL and D 001, NW1, CL and D 100 client. So like that, your logical system naming convention has to be assigned to the client. So in this way, so this client same table, this client data also will be saved into the same table level with the name of this one. Suppose in this clients you have the Ravi user is there. There is a Ravi data is there here. And in this client also you have the Ravi data is there. In this client also Ravi data is there here. In this data also you have the Ravi data. Ravi, there is a user, this is data is there here. But table is only one. There is only one table here. But there is only one table here. How the all the this table entries will be stored into the one table. One table. How the all the table entries will be stored into the one table level, how it will be stored here. Because only one table, but we have the multiple clients data, but then the data also we have the same name, right? We have the same name data is getting saved, but it will be duplicate, right? Whenever you copy the data from one folder to same folder, suppose in this folder to data, I'm copying to the same folder data, it will say like, so it will be override or it will say something like that, right? So then it will be override. It will override or duplicate records will be inserted into the database table level. Why? Because that's right. Why? Because 000 we have the same Ravi, 001 same, 100 client also same data is storing here. Then how my all the clients data with the same name also how can be inserted? So that is the reason SAP inserted the logical system field. In this logical system field, so whenever the data is storing here for Ravi data, then it will insert the logical system field. Then 001, it will insert the this field. Then 100 client, it will insert the field. So in the table level, so all the data will be inserted in the form of logical systems. So there is no clash. Why? Because who is differentiating here? Logical systems are differentiating. Logical systems are differentiating to store the data. To store the data, logical systems are differentiating. Okay, let me give the one more example here, right? One more example. Suppose this is the DB table. This is the DB table. Just example DB table. So we have the table means we have the rows as well as columns also available, rows and the columns also available, rows and columns also available here, rows and columns also available here, right? It is inserting the records. Okay, that's fine. So here this is the table. Okay, this is the table here. So which is there in the database level, the field name, suppose like name. So name then what is this? Name, number. So definitely logical system field here. Logical system field here. So name. So name will be inserted. Or client. There is a one more field called the client also here. Otherwise, just only name. So there is a data which is coming from the application saying that okay, Ravi user data. Then it is coming to the table level. Then in this table level, so this is coming from Ravi user. The number is 01, right? So then, so here we don't, suppose example, we don't have the logical system field here. Then what will happen? There is a one more data which is coming from the system saying that Ravi user, same user, Ravi user. Then here Ravi user, maybe there is already insert duplicate records are there here. Then how this record will be inserted? That we will call it as the duplicate records, right? Why? Because so when record with the Ravi name already there, then how the one more record will be inserted, right? It won't be inserted here, right? So then this is from the different client. You think like this is the 000, this is the 001 client record which is coming. Then that will how this will be inserted. Why? Because table is only one. For any, we have the hundreds of clients also, but only one table that is applicable for to store the all the clients data. All the clients data will be inserted into the one table level, right? So then this data is coming from here, right? Data is coming from here. If the same Ravi user, sir, already duplicate records are there. How can I insert here? Then your database throw the error like, okay, this is the duplicate records are inserting, so it will reject the connections, right? Then that will be a problematic. Why? Because this is not in this client, this is a different client. One user, if you want to log into the one system, you need to have the multiple users, multiple clients are required, right? So each client there is a separate users are required. Then how? Then that is the reason here there is a logical system field. It will differentiate the NW1 CLNT 000 client 000. Then here Ravi record also will be inserted, but same name will be inserted, fine. But here who will differentiating, what is differentiating here? Logical system field are differentiating here. Logical system fields are differentiating to identify the, based on that the data insertion. Without logical system, so the data insertion will not happen. Okay, without data insertion will not happen to the table level. So that is the main important thing for the business clients. So business clients, how many clients are there? How many Ravis are there? Each client, any Ravi is there, then data will be inserted into the table level. Why? Because here we have the logical system field is there. based upon the logical system field differentiation, your client data will be saved here, right? So what is the logical system? To identify the data, to identify the client within the landscape, you need a logical system, right? Without logical system naming convention, client, we cannot create it here. We can create it. That is not the recommended approach. Definitely logical system field we have to create it here. So before creating the client in SCC4 is the transaction code. See here lot of clients are created by the our guys. See, lot of clients they have created, right? Lot of clients our guys are created here. So here, what I am going to create here, I am creating the one more new client. I am going to create it here. Click on the OK. Just click on the pencil button. This is the change option. Then click on the new entry. Take the new entry here. Okay, new entry. So then new entry means new client. Here, what client you are going to create? 100 client. Then what is this client? This client is for the UAT client or testing client, whatever it may be. What is the city of this client? Maybe Germany, something like that. What is the logical system field then? Sir, I have not created any logical system like a syntax. So if you browse it here, nothing is there here, no logical system field. So there are no logical system field here. So SID, CLND 456, there is a different clients are there. My client is the 100 client. Where is the 100 client data? Nothing is there. So that is the reason before creating the logical system. So there is a logical system before creating the client, the logical system we have to create it here. Logical system we have to create it here. So where we have to create the logical system field. So logical system we have to create in the sale or BD54 are the transactions to create the logical systems, right? So if you go to the sale, there also we can create, go to the BD54 directly, you will get the logical system option. Here you can create the, click on the new option, then logical system. What is the SID? NW1, CL and D. Then 100 client, then NW1 100 client. So logical system created. So proper syntax you have to give it. Okay. Then click on the save button. Then click on the save. Then logical system data got saved here, created. Right. Like this, how many clients you are creating, that many logical system entries you have to define in the table level. So see here, you are defined it. Here you have defined the logical system entries. So then you have created the client, you have defined the logical system entry. Now go to the see here. Now just you can browse it here. Now you see the whatever the entry you created here, 100 client. See, 100 client entry got created here. So this entry you cannot insert manually. You have to browse it. To browse it, this should be already created earlier, right? It's not created. Then you have to go to the BD54 or sale. Sale also you can go with this one. But in the sale, you need to navigate some transaction codes here, some tabs. Go to the basic settings, logical systems, then define the logical system here. So then again, go to this page only. Instead of that, directly can go for the BD54 transaction code. So then you will come to know the logical system field here. Logical system field here. Logical system field is there here. Then you can navigate to the logical system field, 100 client, whatever is there. You can navigate to the logical system field, click on the save button, right? Then logical system is created, right? So this is the way we have to create the logical systems. Logical systems we have to create it here, right? Once you create the logical system, assign that logical system to the client. So suppose you created the 200 client, but you are assigning the 100 client, means there is a clash, there is a violation, right? It's not the good. Whatever the client you are giving here, same logical system you need to assign it here. Sir, I am creating the 200 client. I am giving assigning the 100 client logical system, means that is a clash, right? So why? Because it should be the same. Now currency, what is the currency? That currency name you need to type it here. What is the client role? This is the client role here. So these client roles are important. What is the client role? What purpose you are creating? Is that production client or testing client, customization development client or demo client, training client? What client is this? Which purpose you are trying to create the client here, right? So maybe I'm creating the 100 client for the training or education purpose. Yes, then you can create it. Or testing purpose, you can use it. So what purpose you are trying to use this system? The NW1 is the development system or quality system or production system. What is this system? We know as you developed in the time of that time, that is the development system. How the system knows? Then based upon the client role. This is the based upon the client role, system knows what type of system is this. What type of system is this? Client knows. If you put the customization, then this is the development customizing system, right? If you put the production, this is the production system. So then carefully we need to monitor the systems. So this is not the production system, this is a test system, then you can put the system. So that is your wish, which system, which client. But you have to properly, so thoroughly, we have to check which system is this. So here, sir, how can I know? We know when you are developing the system, we know, okay, in a landscape, we are developing the development system. This is for the testing system. This is for the production system. We know we are putting the names. We are keeping the names like that. But how the system knows here? How the system knows? Based upon the client role. Based upon the client role, the system will be differentiated. Based upon the client role, the system will be differentiated here, right? Then what about the this settings are? This is for the client change options. So client specific change option here. Suppose I don't want to, suppose except production systems, only development client settings will be opened to do the direct changes in the system. Sir, if you open the client, then anybody can do the changes in the production system also, right? Then how can we differentiate it? Sir, we, as a business scenario, as a business landscape here, you said like we should have minimum three systems. One is the development system, one is the quality system, second one is the production system here. This is the NWD system. This is the NWD system. You kept the SAD. This is the NWQ system. This is you kept the SAD. This is the NWP system, P for production. That as per our remembering purpose, we kept the systems here. We kept the systems here. So then how the system knows then? How the system knows this is the production system or this is the quality system or this is the production system? How the system know? Why? Because the installation is same for all the any systems. The same SWPM tool we will use it. We will do the installation here, but we will use the same. Then what is the thing here, right? How the system knows here, right? Which means based upon the client role, if you put the customization, that is the development. If you put the testing system, that is the test system, means quality system. If you put the production, that is the production client. Like that, based upon the client role, system will be act accordingly. System will be act accordingly here. System will be act accordingly here, right? So that is the main thing here. Then what about the these things are? So production means, so our business scenario is anybody, any development system, people will, why we have the development system? Any developments, people has to do the developments here, then they can move the changes to the quality. Here the testing will happen. From testing to, then we will move the business. We will move to the business system. Why? Because all the production users will log into the our production system only. All the business users will log into the business users. Will log into the business system. So if you perform directly testing on here, if you perform directly development here, then there is a clash, right? Definitely it will impact your business, production business. So live orders, food orders. So suppose anything, some changes are required in the production system, some tabs are changing, something new functionality you have to implement, means directly people cannot do anything here. Though they will go to the their respective development system, they do the all the developments here, then they will move to the quality, they will do the testing here thoroughly, they will do the all the testing and everything. Once we got the sign off, then only nothing is impacting, then only they will move to the changes to the production system. Then only they will move the changes to the production operations here. And only they will move the changes to the production operations. But because production is the business criticality system, all the business users, transactions, bookings, everything, orders, sales, everything will happen in the production system, not in the quality, not in the development. Sir, suppose my production settings are open, my production client settings are open, the people log in, if you do the some unnecessary changes in the system, it will impact the business, right? Yes. So that is the reason we have to make sure we have to close the, depends upon the client role, we need to change the client settings, which means no changes are allowed, either client specific changes or cross client changes, no changes are allowed in the system. If you keep this one, oh, this is the production system, people they cannot directly do the changes in the production system. Anybody, nobody cannot do the any changes in the system here. Why? Because the settings are closed here. These are the settings here, so we can close it here. If you open the changes, normally in the development, definitely it should be open changes. Development means it kind of playground. In the playground, so normally this is kind of the playground. The playground we can do the any kind of changes here, right? This is a playground. In the playground we can do the any changes here. Then we will qualify it here. Then we will go to the upper limit here. Here they will do the final testing and everything. You are selected for the final. Then you will go for the main stadium. Then the main stadium you cannot play the small things, everything, right? There are strict rules will be followed and all the public will watch all those things, right? So that is called the production here, right? That is called the production here. The changes are qualified for the production means that is called for the production final. Here business will happen, right? This is the dead end. This is the last system here. Your changes will be moved here. So if any small changes also, it should come from the development to quality, quality to production. Anything, it should come directly, sir. Small change, right? Directly I can do the changes here, right? Then what's this, sir? No. As per your business rule, policy will not allow direct changes in the production. We have to do it in the, so we have to do it in the systems only here. That's what. So that is what we have to do in the systems here, right? So that is the thing here. 1 minute. Okay, so that is the client changes. So you have multiple options are there, right? What is that? Changes without automatic recording. Maybe you can do the changes in the client, but there is no record. What you changed it, who changed it, what. But if you select this option, yeah, automatic recording of changes. You can do the changes, but what you are doing in the changes table level in the system, that will be recorded in the somewhere, right? Then no changes are allowed. If you keep this one, no changes allowed in the direct changes allowed in the 100 client. Nobody cannot do any changes in the systems. Changes without automatic recording, no transports are allowed. No one. This is also they can do the changes without automatic recording. No transports are allowed. So no one do the any changes here also here. If it's a production, only production we will do the no changes are allowed. Apart from that remaining systems, we will keep like changes are allowed here. Here also, sir, both are same, right? This is a client specific objects. In the objects, we have the multiple objects. Some objects are some data is like a client specific data. Some data cross client that is applicable for the all the client master data. Then in this case, some people directly changing the data. If you keep this one, so they can do the changes to the system repository and the cross client. If you do it in the, so no changes are allowed. No changes are allowed to the repository. No changes allowed to the repository and cross client. Then you can keep this one. Everybody, anybody, any changes are happened in the system. They can do the changes in the 100 client. That's what it will happen in the systems. That's what it will happen in the systems here. Anybody, they can do the changes in the systems, right? So that is the that is the business scenario. Except development only open status. Client settings are open status. Then remaining systems, it will be closed status. Only here it's opened. Remaining systems are its closed status here. That's what it will happen in the business scenario, right? Only development, it will be open status. No changes are allowed. So no changes are allowed. So that is in the only production. Remaining and all, we can do the changes here. So normally, rare cases, regularly we will get the request from our functional team. This is the client we created, 100 client, right? So, basis team, could you please open the 100 client in NW1 for the changes? We want to do the some ledger changes. We want to do the book changes. We want to do the something in the system. The settings are currently closed status. Please open. Then in that case, we have to just click on the second option. Here we have the first option. We need to select. We open the client, right? Then we need to open the client like that. Sometimes once they are done it, they will ask us to close it. Then we will do the close the changes, client changes here. We will close it and we will keep on open status here like this. Right? So this is a frequently every day, daily 2-3 requests we may get from the our functional and development teams in our basis daily work, daily routine work. This is one of the client open, client close is one of the requests. If they ask us to open the client, the basis team in the NW1, please open the 100 client. We want to do the some sales order changes manually. Then they can go for the automatic. We can go for the automatic and changes. Then we will keep it and we will say yes, client is opened for the changes. Let us know once you've done it. We will close the changes. Why? Because we cannot open the changes longer time. If you open it, so anybody can anything they can change it. Why? Because they're production, right? Table changes, report, nothing, some everything will happen manually. If they edit the entries, if they edit their order, their bank accounts, their ledgers, anything they can edit it, it will be lost for customer only, right? So that is the reason. So we cannot directly open the changes here. Immediately we have to do the changes, close. Immediately we have to close it. We have to not, we should not open longer period for open the client and close the client. It will be violations, company violations. And also the client open close request also there is a approvals. There is approval procedure from the management. Why? Because production client you are opening means you, so something anytime anything will happen. There is a proper change request. There is a proper approvals, delivery managers, then customer approvals. So client, so many approvals you should get to open the client. From our side, once we got the approval, simple. Just open the, go to the SCC4, select the client, open the client, save it. That's our duty is very simple. But they want to do something in the changes, some changes they want to perform it in the production client. There is a lot of approvals they have to get, lot of approvals they have to get in the systems. That is the main thing of the production is the very dangerous. Why? Because if you do some changes, why? Because all the business data, transactions, everything will happen in the production. If you open the system for longer time, so some of the other persons, so directly they can go to their table, their sales table in the payment section. They will do something messy, right? So then it will cause the the payments will be go to the that person, the settlements will happen to that person, then unnecessarily it will last for the company only, right? So that is that things will happen. So to avoid that kind of things, so people always will close the client, will always will close the client, right? So this is the client settings and client creation and logical systems. So SCC4, we can use this new option, new entry, we can create the new client here. But logical system, we have to create it. Then in this case, what we have to do, first of all, logical system field, we have to, the logical system we have to define. Then after that, we need to create a new client. Once the client created, then client settings we have to decide. Who will decide means normally your team or your managers will tell you, oh, this is a production client, close all the settings. Oh, this is the quality, open. This is the development, close it. Something like that, they will tell you the open and close. The scenario they will develop. So then production means it's the production client. Then definitely we should close it. We should not allow. So that is the changes we have to perform in the systems, right? Then client got created. Sir, client is created. Then when we are logging to the system, which user I have to use it here? Why? Because the client is created here. Under the client created here, right? Then which user I have to use it here? Which user I have to use it? Then, so which user I have to use it? Why? Because only client created. Then which user I have to use it, which password I have to use it, Sir, anyhow, we have the SAP star DDIC, right? Shall I use the SAP star DDIC? No, it won't work. Why? Because SAP star DDIC will work only for the default clients that are come from the 000 001 clients only, not for the different clients. Only these two clients, SAP star DDIC will work. Why? Because these two will be created during the installation time. These two users will be created. So then how can I log into the newly created client here? So in that case, so to log into the newly created client, so we need to change the one parameter. We have to change it here. Means we have to enable the enable emergency user we have to enable it, that is called the SAP star. The password is the PASS pass. SAP star with pass, we have to enable the emergency user, right? To log into the newly created client, 100 client. So what is the user you have to use it? SAP star pass, we have to use it. Then only we can log into the newly created client here. Sir, now how you logged in? It's already changed. That parameter already changed it. That's why we are able to log into the newly created client here. Sir, can you tell me what parameter we have to change it here? Right? How to change the parameter? So then the new concept will come like parameters and profiles and parameter concept will come. So profiles and parameters will come. So to log into the newly created client, here, newly created client. So we have to change the one parameter. We have to change the one parameter. Sir, what is this parameter concept in the SAP? I'm newly hearing here. That concept is called the profiles and parameters. Profiles and parameters. This is the system changes, system settings changes here. Right? Profiles and parameters concept here. Using this concept, you can adjust the system settings to the different values. Suppose dialogues 10, I want to decrease to the 5. Dialogues are 5, I want to increase to the 6. So I want to change the memory parameters. So everything will set as a parameters here. When you purchase the new mobile, you will get the default things, right? After that, you will go to the settings tab and you will do the your own customization, your own adjustments, you will do it, right? Your own theme, your own ringtone, your own phone sound. So many things you do your own changes here. That is called the settings tab in the mobile phone, right? So then what about the SAP level? Can I do some changes, adjustments as per my requirement? Yes. Where? In the profiles and parameter concept, you have to use it here. Profiles and parameter concept, you have to use it. In that concept, you can do the changes, right? So profiles and parameters. So what is mean by profiles and parameters? So before that, I think let me pause it here. So is there any questions in the client creation and logical system creation and client settings changes?
Just one question I wanted to ask for when you're creating the client. There's an option that says it mentions automatic recording, right?
Yes.
Automatic recording. What is that? I don't understand that.
Automatic recording means you are if you open the if you automatic recording means if you maintain the settings, okay, automatic recording. Okay,
Mhm.
now you said like changes are opened, but you think like okay, nothing will be saved. Why? Because I am only doing the some changes. No one don't know what I am doing the changes and everything means. So that is the false statement. Why? Because you put like a automatic recording of changes. So whatever you doing the changes without telling to anybody, if you are doing the some other changes, whatever you are doing, some changes you are doing in the table level, then that will be recorded in the somewhere in the auditing and the logs that will be recorded. Whatever you are doing, that will be recorded. Tomorrow when the auditing happens, then they will find out you. So okay, we have opened the client, then why you have your changes are approved only to do the changes in the one table, then why you have done the changes for the other tables as well? That time you will awak like, oh, how this person knows I did the changes from the other table. How this person's knows means, so that is called the settings. Automatic recording of changes means whatever you are doing after the client to open, whatever you are doing in the changes, that will be recorded into the somewhere auditing
Okay,
purpose.
okay. Yeah, that's because that's what it sounded. It sounded like there was a log somewhere.
Right, right. There will be a log will be somewhere.
Okay, okay, okay. That's what that was my understanding of it. One thing I just want to mention, and maybe this will help the class kind of understand this because it was confusing me earlier. You mentioned, thanks for mentioning SID in reference to logical system because that was like the key part that was missing for me. That was confusing me earlier. So the way I understand is when you use SWMP and you name your SID, you can name your SID as NWD, for example, and then once everything is installed, you create your logical system as, or rather, you name your logical system as NWD CLNT 100, and then your client as 100, right? And you kind of follow the same concept, and and you use, say, for example, you're creating a new SID called NWQ, and then you'll name your logical system as NWQ CLNT 100, and then client as 100. So that way you're keeping the same, dev, QA, and prod as 100 client, I guess. Um, because what was confusing me earlier is, how do you identify the system if the username is same, if the number is same, the
Yeah.
client is different, but the only thing that the missing piece was the SID itself. So you need to make sure that you're mentioning the SID as something similar to your logical system because that will kind of help
Right,
uh,
right.
make clear up that confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this logical system will differentiate it. Actually, system wise, it will differentiate it here. So that's why SID, the logical system fields are very important for the customer. Tomorrow, maybe something is happening, they want to pull the data. 100 client, I want how many balances, ledgers are there, how many sales are open. If they pull it out, then if don't have the 100, if we don't have the logical system in the table level, all the data will store into the one table only. Then how? Then all the data will come into the in the filter condition, right? All the data will come. So if you don't have the logical system field to differentiating, so all the sales data, 100 client, 000, 100 client, all the data residing into the same table. So some people, they want to pull the only 100 client data, they want to pull 100 client how much it's data. Then in this case, all the data will come. Why? Because there is no differentiation here. All the data storing into the one table level. Then it's a very difficult to identify the or check the sales and everything. That is the reason based upon this logical system field. So once you define the logical system field, whatever the data is coming to the 100 client, based upon this logical system, your data insertion will happen to the table level. So they can easily identify.
Yep, yep, that makes sense.
Right.
You mentioned when you first log in, you have to use and maybe I misunderstood this, SAP star and then the password is pass. Is that correct?
Right, right, right. That is the default password, emergency user password for the newly created clients. Whatever
Okay.
the client you created, SAP star with the pass is the, sir, how can I know, how we know whether the default it will be enabled for all? No, there is a one setting, one parameter you have to change it. So what is that parameter means? We have the profiles and parameter concept. Yeah, before going to that one, so just this is a one more internal like middle concept. Like in the client administration, you will get the two more new topics. One is the profiles and parameters, and second one is the RFC administration part that will come. So now profiles and parameter concept. If I explain this now, you can understand. Sir, in the earlier discussion, you mentioned like we can also do the changes of the dialog work process 5 to 10, or some buffers we can change it, some increases we can do that one, some decreases we can do that one. Sir, like how can I do that one? Is there any settings in the system? In if you in my mobile phone, I have the option like settings tab. I can go to the settings tab, then I can do the adjust. But this is SAP system. Where can I do the changes? So in that case, you need to refer this concept that is called the profiles and parameter concept is for to changes of the SAP configurations, to changes of the SAP configurations from one value to another values. So then, so you can use the profiles and parameter concept. So that's why I paused it here before going to the next step. I paused it here, everybody. So maybe, yeah, I can explain it tomorrow. Maybe today you can practice on the client creations and logical system creations and client settings and open and close. So if just to practice on this area this today, and tomorrow I will explain the so profiles and parameters, then how to log into the newly created client, then what we have to do after that. So that I will explain it tomorrow. Okay.
Are we also responsible for creating users and their logical systems and their client as well?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. We are responsible for to create the logical systems and clients. We are only responsible to create the logical systems and client creations and everything. Users and all separate security team they will take care of. But that is also we will discuss in our classes. Users creations and everything.
okay. So we're not creating usernames for them.
Yeah.
That's
As a nowadays standards, we are not touching the security. But in our
okay.
classes, we will discuss about the how to create the users also,
Okay. Good stuff.
users
Thank you.
roles and everything.
So actually, client creation 0002 999.
0002.
Hello. 999 client creation.
Yes.
Again, we create same client number, sir.
No. Any client you can create. This in the system, only one client is possible. But you can
Okay.
create the client from any client. Any
Okay.
client you can log in to create the client. That is, any client means you have only two clients, right? 000 and 001. Either any
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the client you can log in and create the new client. Per system, only one client is possible.
Okay.
Hello, sir. What is that? ECAT and CAT not allowed option is used for
Yeah. That
in.
is kind of some. It's not for us. Yeah, it's not for us. You don't need to remember these things. Why? Because ECAT and CCAT restrictions, like some people they will execute the scripts, bulk scripts, they will execute it. ECAT and CCATs scripts, some functional people they will execute it. So these are by default, it's are not allowed. No, they cannot. So if you put the allowed, they can directly execute the scripts. In the SAP level also, we can execute the GA scripting is possible. In that case, you need to allow the settings. So, but no one use this say, scripting in the SAP level. Only OS level they will use it. So this one is not applicable. So you can ignore it. In case of rare cases, the people want to use it that time. So they can use this CCAT, some C at the settings. Just you can ignore this one. And these settings, so next one, this is the client comparison that will come maybe tomorrow when you are discussing about the client copies. So that topic will come here. This is the client security production levels here. So some people, what they will we have the next concept is called the client overwriting. So which means there is a one system, there is a one client, 000 to 100 client. You want to copy the data, sir. I have the data as of now without knowing. I have to do the everything in the 100 client only, but I have done the all my developments in this clients. My data stored into the 001 client. Sir, is there any option to copy the data, copy this movie to from my mobile to another mobile? Is there any option? Yes, that is called the client copy option. But if you want to do the client copy, here the client copy setting should be no restrictions. If you put the no restriction, they can put it out. If you put the no overriding, then they cannot copy the data to the 100 client. So production, it will be closed status. So then quality development, it should be open status here. Why? Because some people, what they will do, knowingly on the development data, they will overwrite on the production client copies. So then that is a messy, that is a very messy, that is a very so mess in the system. So that's why to overcome this kind of manual human errors, they will keep the settings to be closed status. All the settings, production settings, whatever is there, they will close it. They will close it. They will put the production no overwriting. Everything they will keep it. So in this case, there is no overwriting in the systems. So these all are the client settings only. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. So please practice client creation, logical system, and client settings review once. Tomorrow we'll see the how can we log into the newly created clients? Then how to, after login, so how to copy the data from one client to another client, that is we call it as the client copies. That we will discuss tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.